Well, my pretties, we are at episode 189 of Shadows and Pretties, and today, after reviewing that horrible abomination of a movie, which was called Mother, that came out in 2017, today we're going to be looking at this movie that came out in 2007 called Lake Placid 2. Now, this is a sequel to the first Lake Placid movie that I reviewed that came out in 1999, which I actually liked. This is actually a pretty good sequel to it. So, to get started with this is that the film generally received negative reviews, citing on the unoriginal plot and low budget special effects of this movie. So, a lot of people really do not like this movie, but for some reason, I didn't think it was that bad, but it could have been, more better in my opinion. So this movie came out in 2007. It's an American made-for-television comedy horror film directed by David Flores, which is a sequel to Lake Placid that came out in 1999. It's a second installment of the Lake Placid film series. And tells a story about a man-eating crocodiles who terrorize a local community. This film, which was premiered on April 28th, 2007 on the Sci-Fi Channel, and it was released to a direct-to-video on January 29th, 2008. So yeah, my voice has been a bit dry, so I've been having a bit of a coughing fit not too long ago. I got us something to drink to help it, so yeah. I didn't think this movie was that bad, is what, the critics were saying, that they said this movie sucks and all that, but, I actually liked the first Lake Placid movie, which, I did a review on it in case you guys did not know, and I actually really didn't think this one was that bad. Yes, it could have been, improved. It could have some improvement and could use a bit of improvement on it. Well, improvement a lot more in it, but you guys might think otherwise, but like I said, the first Lake Placid movie, I thought it was pretty good, but this one, in my opinion, I didn't think it was that bad, but there could be improvement. The film could improve, at least, have some decency in this. But like I said, this is just my opinion, and if you don't like this movie and you happen to disagree with me, I understand. That is your opinion. If you're wondering why my voice is off, yeah, it's pretty much just my allergies going on, or I could be catching a cold, so yeah. So the film begins with two researchers, Frank Mills and Tillman, on a rubber raft until Tillman gets dragged into the water and killed by a crocodile. And this story pretty much takes place in Arkansas County in Maine. Kind of like similar how the first plot of the movie went. Where Frank reports to the sheriff, James Riley, showing him the Tillman's severed body parts. So James, Frank, and wildlife officer Emma Warner venture out into the lake where they find more of Tillman's remains. While three friends, Mike, Eddie, and Sharon, are killed by a crocodile while they're swimming in the lake. So James, Emma, and Frank stop at the house of Sadie Bickerman, an elderly hermit who has allegedly been feeding the crocodiles, interrogate her about her missing sister, Dolores, but she refuses to answer or let them in the house, so a poacher named Jack Strovers and his assistant Ahmad land their plane on the lake, hoping to kill the crocodiles after getting a tip from the local. So, yeah. This film's almost kind of same as the first one, but it's completely different in a different storyline sort of way, with different characters in that. So the sheriff's son, Scott Riley, wanders into the woods and appears to be stalked by the incoming crocodile. It turns out to be Daisy, the pet dog of Carrie. Scott then meets Carrie and her boyfriend, friend Tad, or Fad. So Daisy barks at something moving in the lake, but Curie sees nothing. Sadie talks with the photographer at the boat dock before they go back to the cabin, and the photographer gets killed purposely by a crocodile while taking pictures. So riding the boat again, James suddenly slows down, knocking Frank into the water, but James and Emma bring him back on board safely when a crocodile appears and James draws his gun, but the crocodile dives under to knock the three off the boat. The boat gets demolished and all three of them will get to land unharmed, so the three meet the Struffers and Ahmad, who flew the plane to distract the crocodile. So the next scene shows Rachel and Larry along with Scott, Carrie, and Fad venturing into the woods, another part of the lake, with the sheriff's team. Deputy Dale Davis comes out to unload the boat. So while the crew sets up the tent for an overnight camping, they see a wild boar trapped in a rope net and feed it to the crocodile, which the crew neutralizes the crocodile with their guns, and Dale ties its mouth with a rope. But unfortunately, the crocodile does easily breaks free, severed Dale's arm, and devours him. So Frank dies from a fall, and then the others move on. So meanwhile, Rachel gets killed by the crocodile, who drags her into the lake, while Larry manages to escape. The other three of the younger group finds the eggs in the woods, and Fad breaks some eggs, but gets killed by the crocodile. So the sheriff group feeds a boar carcass to one of the crocodile, with a harpoon arrow accidentally damages Struffer's plane. James and Hamad then abandon the boat, and Struffers is then thrown off the plane. But Hamad neutralizes the crocodile. Thunderstorm strikes during the night, forcing the crew to their tents. So Scott and Carrie are stranded in the woods until they find a horrified Larry. And the sheriff's crew is fast asleep in their tents until the crocodile attacks and kills Hamad. So the next morning, Scott, Carrie, and Larry climbed to a tree to avoid the crocodile, but Larry falls from the tree and gets killed, while James, who finds the two surviving teenagers, kills the crocodile with a grenade launcher, and Sadie lets the teenagers inside her house to safety. But she tricks them into entering the lake, and she then gets devoured by a crocodile herself. The police battles one crocodile, and Emma kills it by puncturing its mouth with a jackknife. The Struffers then hangs upside down on the tree, and he gets decapitated with the last crocodile. James kills it with multiple explosive substance that destroys the crocodile's nest. So at the end, Scott and Carrie kiss while James and Emma leave to the lake together. It is revealed that Emma took the crocodile eggs from the nest earlier and sends them to a scientific lab, and that's how the movie ends. Now, this film was filmed in Bulgaria and Romania in 2006, which I did not know that that's where the location of this movie was filmed at. There is an unrated and rated version of this movie that came out on DVD in January 29th of 2008. And the unrated Blu-ray was released later on, sometime in 2011. So, I don't understand why Lake Placid 2 at one point was, getting hated. I like the first one, don't get me wrong. But it's just, with the second one, though, a lot of people really, don't like or something. The cast and the crew actually did somewhat of a pretty interesting job, and it does have a really good concept for what this movie could be. The first Lake Placid movie was actually pretty good. That one was enjoyable, but for some reason a lot of people really don't like this one. This one takes place only a couple years since the first Lake Placid movie, but yeah, unfortunately users actually said that it was unnecessary sequel to self-marketing the campy and comedy horror Lake Placid. So none of the original cast had signed for this dog, which is a very good decision on their part. And the baby crocodiles you see in the closing of the movie are apparently have grown up and now have decided to pick up where their parents left off and eat lots of people or something. A lot of people really say that, it's a really bad movie and it fails at both horror and comedy. This movie does need does need improvement. Like, maybe the sequel was probably not necessary. I'm not really sure because I haven't watched this movie in like years. I mean, I did watch it at one point, and I mean, it does have somewhat of an interesting concept. Like, I mean, the way the film went out, it does have an interesting concept, and it seemed pretty neat. But unfortunately, this movie does need improvement, and that's unfortunate because this movie could have been like a good sequel to Lake Placid. I mean, take a look at the first movie that came out in 1999. That one was a pretty good movie. And with a sequel that came out almost 10 years later, I mean, if this movie was like, I don't know, made maybe at least 2 years after the first one, maybe that would have made sense or something. I don't really know, to be honest. That's actually been something I've been really curious as to why that's the case. I don't know, to be honest. That's actually been a tough question that's been on my mind for the last, couple days. I mean, even if I rewatch this like a couple times, I still won't understand why this movie gets so many hate. I mean, this movie's okay. I mean, I don't care for this, movie now. I mean, when I saw it when I was younger, I thought it was decent, but I mean, it's still decent today, but it just doesn't make it just I mean, I would kind of agree and understand why people would say, it's an unnecessary sequel, but that's all I can really say is that maybe there might have been something added, maybe that would make the movie more sweller, but like I said, I guess it depends on how you look at it. Because, everybody's different. I mean, if you like this movie, that's perfectly fine. I'm willing to respect that. If you like this movie, that's perfectly okay. And if you don't like this movie, I really respect your opinion because everybody has their own right to make their own opinion. As long as they're respectful to everybody else's opinion. Which most of you guys, most of you guys you do know that, you're always respectful to opinions and that. So I can really definitely say this is actually pretty good. So I definitely gotta say it's a pretty good story. It does have a good plot line, and it's really well. I mean, it could have had a better plot line. I mean, I could tell it did have somewhat potential, but maybe if it was improved, maybe it wouldn't have sucked as much as I didn't expect it. But like I said, that's just my own opinion. And like I said, this is simply my own personal opinion. And if you happen to disagree with me, that's perfectly fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these stories. And this is simply my own personal thoughts. I mean, I'm going to give this movie 5 out of 10. It's okay, but could have been better. That's all I can really say. But like I said, you guys might have your own different opinion. And if I miss something, maybe you could comment what it is in the comments below. But like I said, this movie's a meh. Not my favorite, but could have been better. That's something I can definitely really say that would have helped better with the movie. But like I said, that's just my opinion. If you happen to disagree with me, perfectly fine. I respect your opinion. So, with that being the case, that being said, what did you guys personally think of this movie? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this movie a lot better. You are free to make your own thoughts and opinions, decisions, and feel free to leave me what your thoughts are on the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much yet again for watching today's episode. And if you're new to this channel, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload. So that way you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, I will be catching you all in the next video, which, yeah, I'll be seeing you guys then. So peace out, everyone.